Pfizer's spending big money to control online media. Boy, they have succeeded, haven't they? Talk about this, would you?
This is an amazing story by this group, Lever News, Andrew Perez. And by the way, Lever News is actually emerging as a very good anti-corporate news source here. But
tell the viewers about that so they'll have a source to go to.
Yeah, it's levernews.com. Again, huge. David Sirota writes for it. Andrew Perez, a lot of folks, we've talked about over the years. But what they've found here, they've been doing the digging, and they've found that Pfizer is out here sponsoring all kinds of different online media outlets. They've got a event coming up this week that they're sponsoring for The Hill. And what they're doing is paying to have their articles, in addition to the big money behind it, go out there to the public saying, oh, look at what a good company Pfizer is, as they do every January, raising the prices on hundreds of prescription drugs in America simply because they can. But they've got these articles out here that they paid for saying, we give so much money to charity. We're on the forefront of cutting-edge medical technology. It's a sham, and they're paying for it.
Let me tell you, it's really weird. They write the articles.
Yeah.
They do the television production. They give it to MSNBC. They give it to CNN. They give it to the corporate networks, and they just run it. Why? Because Pfizer is advertising every 9 minutes on MSNBC or CNN. Yeah. So they just take this packaged crap that's produced by Pfizer, and it's all, well, we're a wonderful corporation. They don't talk about the hundreds of lawsuits that have been brought against them for fraud, for creating dangerous drugs. They don't talk about any of that. They say, okay, if you said it, it must be true. And oh, by the way, could you spend another $10 million with us this year advertising Pfizer?
And what we see now, because you're talking a lot about the corporate media, which they've been in for years, and now they've realized we've seen the success on the corporate media, on the daytime television especially, it's bad. And now they're moving into those online forums,
right,
where they couldn't get in front of people's eyeballs the same way they do on TV. So they buy spots, and oil industry is bad with this too. They buy them on The Hill, thehill.com. They buy it in Politico. Politico is horrible with the corporate propaganda.
Just give us money, we'll say whatever you want to say.
And now this new one, Semaphore, which I've used them as a source. They've put out some good stuff. And Pfizer understands, they're talking about pharmaceutical stuff. We've got to put a stop to it. We've got to buy them off.
I wouldn't use that as a source. I literally would not use it as a source. I wonder about any of these other sources that are doing this, because all they're doing is they're going to package. Would you do this story? We filmed it for you. We have the witnesses. We have whatever. Just put it up. Everything's going to be okay. Now, the problem, as you're talking about, is it moves into social media. What ends up happening, those stories are throttled up, okay? Yep. Our story about this will be throttled back. When you're watching this segment, don't be surprised if a drug company comes on right before our segment. Every time we do a story about the Next Era, for example, the energy supply company, they're right before we start hammering in them. So I mean, social media in another year, you're not even going to recognize it, man. You're not even going to recognize it because they're just being bought up the same way corporate media has been bought up.
It's just that the corporations are a little bit behind where they were with corporate media. And now that they see the corporate media is dying, you got people dropping satellite TV left and right.
Man.
Exactly. So they're like, okay, we got to move into this online. We got to be on Twitter. We got to be on Facebook. We've got to buy the actual website coverage. And that's what they're doing.
Farron, I looked at one of your stories the other day. You were doing it. It was something to do with something Trump had done. It was a powerful story. But then off to the side of it, there were stories completely unrelated to anything you were doing. Okay? Yeah. There were supposed to be, those stories over on the right of the page are supposed to be somehow connected to the topic. MSNBC comes up talking about some nonsense story, probably has been fed to them by Pfizer. CNN, just look down the list. There are not independent sources. Are you going to see Sam Seder? Are you going to see David Pakman? Are you going to see any of these sources that are independent media anymore? Because corporate media is coming in. They've destroyed corporate television. Now they're coming in to destroy corporate, corporate internet.
And they're making huge headway with it too. I mean, across the board on the progressive side of the independent media, hosts out there on YouTube are getting hammered by this, and most of it has to do with what you're talking about. They're no longer showing up in that suggested feed. You know, oh, because you like David Pakman, we should show you a bunch of David Pakman or similar videos, but instead we're going to send you to ABC, NBC, Fox, whatever it is.
You know, what people don't understand about what this station does, we'll get these things, they'll get mad about me doing a story on something and, you know, call me a right-winger or say that you're a crazy lefter, and so we're unsubscribing. They don't understand that doesn't affect us because the way that our money comes in has nothing to do with it. But these other folks that are relying on those advertising dollars coming in, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got somebody at the wheel like Twitter or Facebook that's throttling them back to create more space for MSNBC and CNN.
Yeah.
That's the problem.